perfect pointed foot for classical ballet. There are ways you can improve the strength and flexibility. One of the most important ways is using your tendus, your relevés, and your sautés in ballet class to continuously work the foot and build strength. In your tendu, you want to make sure you use the floor to develop articulation through the ankle and the demi-point. In your relevé and your sauté, you really want to press down into the floor to rise up so you build strength in the ankle. You also want to control the descent, again, to develop that small musculature in the foot. To develop flexibility, there's some basic stretches you can do. You want to make sure you do these carefully and that the foot is in alignment with the ankle and the knee. You'll cross one leg in front of the other in parallel. Make sure the toes are tucked right next to the standing heel. You don't want to sickle because that will be reinforcing the very flexible outside of your ankle. So then you'll press your back knee into the front knee and stretch the instep, creating a nicer line of the ankle. Another stretch you can do in parallel is do a demi-plie, keeping the heels on the floor. Maintain that demi-plie as you roll through a forced arch or a high floor position, lifting the heels up, stretching underneath the toes to achieve a better demi-point. From there, you can straighten the knees and try to maintain that line of the ankle for a more beautiful relevé.
Today I'm going to show you how to stretch your feet and how to make them more flexible so you look better on point. First you need one of these things, they're called a TheraBand, and they're stretchy. They're kind of like a really big rubber band. Mine is really thick, and some of them are really thin. There's like different thicknesses of them. So, first of all, you take the TheraBand and you put it over your foot, like this. And then you just stretch up, and it stretches right here on your foot, so it makes your ankle more flexible. So just stretch up like this, and usually hold this 30 seconds to a minute, and you could do it like however many times you want a day. Depends on how flexible you want your feet. And if you want your feet more flexible, you have to get stronger on point too, because like your feet can't be too flexible and no strength, because then you're going to hurt yourself. So, and then you do your left side. Make sure you do both sides evenly. So this is kind of like how you do it. Oh yeah, back straight. Just like hold it right under your foot. Stretch like this. Secondly, I want to talk to you about the different foot positions. So, when your foot is like this, so it looks like this, that is called fickling. And fickling is bad because you could twist your ankle outside like this or just break it off, and that would hurt. So do not do that. And then winging is when your foot kind of goes like this. It looks like a wing, so like a bird's wing is doing that. So winging looks like this. Can you see? So it looks like this. Usually you use winging for arabesques and attitudes, different things like that when your foot is out and you kind of want to have it a little bit out like that. It makes your lines look. And lastly, the correct foot position, when usually just pointing your foot, is just straight down. So no fickling, no winging. You just want like a straight line right down your back.
better ballet feet. So not all of us were blessed with really flexible feet, so some of us just need to learn how to use what we have. So I learned at a young age that if you shape your foot well, then it'll look better. So I like to wing my foot, which means that basically you take the angle of your foot and you lengthen it down just a little bit. Instead of keeping it straight, your leg looks a little bit longer and the foot looks a little bit better when it's winged. So that's something you can practice. Otherwise, I'm a huge advocate for the TheraBand. So you can get different strengths in these TheraBands, and I love exercises where you go through demi-point and full point. So you really get strong in that arch and in those toes so that you can hold that point even longer, especially good if you're on point. You can take this, go to the side, go to the other side, so you get really strong ankles and feet. Otherwise, you can get a contraption like this, where you stick your foot in and you learn how to train the bones in your arch and in your ankle so that they move efficiently. So something like this may cost a little bit more money. I used to just stick my foot under the couch or have a friend hold my toes down and stretch my feet like that every day. So that's another way to work on your feet. Lastly, I like to massage my feet, or get a tennis ball or golf ball, anything you can find, so that they don't get as tense. So I like to stand on a ball here. It's good for everybody, not just dancers, so that the muscles in your feet can relax after a long day of dancing or working, and they'll be a little bit more mobile and can move hopefully a little bit better and give you a better arch. So hopefully you can apply some of these tips and get better ballet feet. if you have a towel at home, you can treat your toes like little caterpillars and scrunch and try and gather up this towel under your foot. This is engaging all of these muscles under your arch as well as your toes, which eventually creates that arch in your foot. You can make this towel really long, and you can do this for maybe 10 minutes on each foot. Get that exercise. Otherwise, I'd recommend a TheraBand of any kind of color or strength. You take it, flatten it under the bottom of your foot, and you go through demi-point and full point, just like this. And I would say about 20 reps going all the way through. You can focus just on the arch by just doing the toes. So those are a few things you can try at home. Using a TheraBand or using a towel, it's really easy. And you'll feel the benefits hopefully after you do it for a couple weeks, I would hope. Otherwise, there's just kind of the natural stretching your foot, having a friend stretch it for you, or you can buy kind of a fancy arch machine to put your foot in and make those bones glide. But I think if you have a towel or a TheraBand, you're good to go.
quickly improve point work. One way is to use a TheraBand in bare feet to do some strengthening exercises that also help mobility in the ankle. And secondly, we're going to show some basic releves that you can do at the bar, or if you don't have a bar at home, you can do them just holding onto the counter or the bedpost, something just to help with balance. So first you're going to take the TheraBand and place it around your foot, so there's about an inch hanging above the toes, so that when you fully point, your whole foot is covered. You'll press against the TheraBand so your ankle is long and you're isolating the toes. Then you'll lengthen the toes away from you and make sure you're pulling with straight arms to increase resistance. Then maintain that resistance and release just the toes, keeping the ankle long. What you don't want to do is release the toes and ankles at the same time. So you want to work those small muscles in between the metatarsal. And you can repeat this demi-point exercise just using the toes back and forth until there's fatigue. You can also isolate just the ankle by circling the ankle in each direction. So going through a full range of full point, a cycled position, which typically we want to avoid in ballet, but in this exercise we don't. And then we go through full flexion, and then what we would call a wing position all the way to the other side, returning to a fully pointed foot. And you will do this in both directions. Another thing you can do are simple releves. When doing releves, you want to make sure you keep alignment between ankle and toes, and rotate over the pelvis. You can be in parallel position, as you become stronger on the leg.
stretch is you're going to take your TheraBand and you're going to put it around the tops of your toes and pull it back. And you're going to stretch and point your feet, but keep your toes straight, don't crunch them. The next stretch is rises. And don't touch your heel to the ground, keep it just off the ground. And do the other leg. And bend. Also try just regular ankle circles like this, and make sure you actually do a circle. And if you want to stretch out your arches and improve them, I suggest doing a stretch like this. And this really stretches the front of your ankle so you can point further down to the ground. And hold this for about 30 seconds, massaging the arches of your feet. So the instep is that part, so massage it. And this is like deep massaging. And you can use like a spray bottle or something if you want to roll it. That usually feels really good. And make sure you do the outside part of your foot. So just like that. And also the middle. So there's 3 like main muscles in your foot, so make sure you get each of them. And also massage the back of your ankle.